Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott. On today's video, I'd like to talk about budget optimizations. And what I'm really looking for is your help in helping me reduce my expenses as I move forward from pre-retirement into retirement. If you'd like to help and that sounds like something that's interesting to you, please stick around. The other day, I was watching a video on YouTube from Buzz Retirement Garage, and he was covering his budget and how he's able to live on Social Security alone. And it got me thinking about my budget specifically and ways that I could optimize my budget. He kind of stepped through his budget, and then in the comments, there were tons of people leaving him suggestions on how to optimize his various the various aspects of his budget. And so I know I've been struggling to figure out additional places to optimize my budget, and I would love for your assistance in helping me. So what I'd like to do today is just step through the key areas of my budget, talk a little bit about what's in each of those categories, if you will, and then tell you who I'm using, why I'm using them, and if you and look really solicit feedback from you for anything that you might be aware of where I could switch from my current provider to a different provider or take some other action that would improve the cost efficiency within my budget. So I'm going to start with home related things. So there's certain things obviously you can't help with. Like I live in a over 55 community, and so I have HOA dues that are $242 a month. And while this year they're not increasing, last year they went up by 11%. And I know that the board generally likes to think about increasing them on a 5% per year basis. Home insurance, I currently use Amica. I have regular homeowners insurance. I also have flood insurance, and I also have an umbrella policy on the home for enhanced liability. I shopped that policy against State Farm, Farmers, Nationwide, Geico / Liberty Mutual last year, and by far in my area, Amica was the least expensive that provided the best coverage, and I did a comprehensive apples to apples comparison. But if you think that there's some other carrier that I forgot, love to hear about it. Obviously, flood is just through the federal government. I can't do anything about the pricing for that. And then the umbrella policy is a negligible amount of money to add on. All the real value is in the homeowners insurance. Then my property taxes, again, you can't do anything about that. And then I have a timeshare at Disney that I've had since, I think, before my son was born. So it's been like 30, probably 34, 35 years that I've owned it. I'd love to get rid of the thing. Anybody who's interested, like it's a great place. I just don't need it. I haven't been back to use it in more than 5 years. So, and I'm looking to get rid of it. Literally, I will pay. You can use it for free this year, and I'll pay the transfer fee, and then you just have to pick up the ongoing maintenance. Anyway, getting away from that. On home maintenance, I only spend about $38.50 a month. Home improvements, $21. Lawn and garden supplies, like 14. Household items, about 14, and cleaning products, about 12. Not just your normal stuff for dusting and what have you. Jumping over to utilities and communication services. For electric, I pay $124 a month. Internet, I have AT&T fiber, so I have 1 gigabit fiber to the house, and unfortunately, AT&T is the only carrier that I can get in my particular neighborhood. I would love to be able to swap to someone else, but really the difference in the cost, at least where I live, between 300 megabyte and 1 gigabyte is again negligible. So, but again, I'm open to hearing about other suggestions. Could be like T-Mobile 5G or some other way that I could get internet service that would still be high speed at a lower cost than $100 a month, happy to look at it. I have natural gas, and again, only one provider where I live. For TV service, I use DirecTV streaming. I'm not a sports guy, so I don't care about getting any particular sports channels. I do like to watch things like CNBC, so I care about that. But I did have, in my last home, I had an over-the-air antenna, and I actually had it wired throughout the house. I tried that here, didn't get enough of the channels where we currently live to satisfy my wife. So in looking around for the least expensive option, I went with DirecTV streaming. But if you guys know of something else that will give me my local news channels as well as, what I'll call core cable channels, or the, basic channels that you would watch. And the only one I really care about is CNBC, and my wife probably cares about something like Home and Garden TV, something like that. Then on water, our water bill is about $54 a month. We have 2 cell phones. I switched from T-Mobile Magenta 55 Plus over to Visible by Verizon. So it's $25 per phone per month, flat fee, unlimited calls, text, data. So if somebody knows, and again, one of the other reasons I switched from T-Mobile was, again, where I live, their coverage was horrible. So I would get drop calls all the time. On the Verizon network via Visible, I've never had a drop call. I get really good clarity, and the data coverage is really good too. But again, always open to looking to cut my cell phone bill if I can. I have a pest control company here. In our house, they have, the whole house is kind of wired with it's pre-ducted so they can actually spray from the outside, and it flows through all the walls in the house. And it's a great product. Never see internal bugs, so that's awesome. And then as part of my HOA dues, they cover termites, they cover our trash, they cover basic irrigation, and putting down things like pine straw once or twice a year. I have a home security system. I pay $34 a month for water purification filters, both in the refrigerator and like in a portable pitcher type thing. That costs me about $14 a month. I do have a home phone that's voice over IP through UMA. So all I end up having to pay is taxes, which is like $7 a month. And I do that for the 911 coverage, and also so that we can have one number that we can give out, to whoever, doctors or whoever we need to, where they can, call, leave messages for both my spouse and I without having to call our cell phones, and so that we could have one common number. Again, somebody know about alternatives, happy to look at that. And then I use propane tanks for, I cook a fair amount on the grill, and so I've been getting all my propane refills at Tractor Supply. It costs about $3.09 a pound / a gallon, I guess. So like a normal tank takes right at 4 pounds. So it's usually 12 bucks or so per fill up, and they last about 2 months. So, but if somebody knows, again, like I've looked at U-Haul, I've looked at in some other places, they don't seem to have as cost-effective a solution as Tractor Supply. And then I have 2 vehicles, and I have car insurance on those vehicles, again through Amica, because it's bundled with my homeowners, and that was the way I could get the best possible price. And again, I shopped that around for State Farm, Farmers, Nationwide, Geico, American Family. So again, always looking for ways to cut my insurance bill. So if somebody knows about that, I'm happy to look at it. Gasoline cost me about $118 a month, and for us, I either will get gas at a BP station where I can get 15 cents off a gallon. I can get it at Costco, where it's typically much cheaper than our normal places. And then also in our area, we have Kroger's. So if I shop at Kroger, I can build up to $1 off a gallon through my normal food purchases in a month. And then my wife and I will wait until we're down, like both vehicles below a quarter of a tank. Then we'll go together to the Kroger and fill up one car, pull it forward, drive the second car up without ever turning the pump off, fill that car up, so we can maximize the amount of gallons off, or I guess the amount of discount we can get on the gallons. And so we typically save about $35 a month doing that on fill-ups. But if you know about other ways to, keep your gasoline costs low, whether that's through other credit cards or other offers that you're aware of, love to hear about that. We have negligible car supplies and roadside assistance. So then everyone's favorite is, food. And so for us, our food bill, and I'll cover all the different things it includes, but for us, it runs about a little over $1,200 a month. And that's $792 of that is eating in. And $361 of that is going out, including, so restaurants, including the gratuities. And then we spend, about $19 a month on toilet paper, $7 on paper towels. Toothpicks are like $5. Costco membership, which is $60 a year, but so $5 a month. Food saver bags, because I like to buy in bulk and then prepackage everything up and use the food saver. Go through about $467 a month in bags. $4 on tissues, $4 on dishwashing liquid, dishwasher detergent, Rich Aids. Storage bags are about $2. And then all your normal things, napkins, aluminum foil, parchment paper, things like that. They're all like $1 or $2. But for the eating in, so general groceries, on Wednesdays, or really Tuesday night, I go through and we have four grocers that I generally check out in addition to Costco and Walmart. And so we have Kroger, we have Publix, we have Aldi's, and we have Sprouts. And so all of them, well, Aldi sends out their updates for sales first thing Wednesday morning, but all of the other folks do it on Tuesday night. So I put together a shopping list every really Tuesday night, Wednesday morning of all the things that we need. And then, I basically do comparison shop and do digital coupons and all of that stuff. And I've been able to save, I don't know, somewhere around 33% off our food bill by comparison shopping and basically driving between the locations. And most of the locations are, within, let's say, 2 to 3 miles of each other. So it isn't an extensive amount of drive, excuse me, an extensive amount of driving that I have to do to go between them. And then usually I'll buy bulk meats, chicken, sometimes like wild Alaskan salmon, things like that at Costco. But I do comparison shop, like I said. So as an example, Costco's meat for certain types of meat has been going up steadily. And so like today, Aldi had a sale on T-bones that was $7.99 a pound, and they were fantastic looking Angus beef T-bones. So I picked those up at Aldi. They also had St. Louis style ribs for $1.99 a pound. So again, pick those up. But typically I'll buy the stuff like it's around $2.49 to $2.99 at Costco for their various chicken, whether it's wings or breast or legs, whatever, it's somewhere in that range. I'll buy things like pork belly and make my own bacon. And then, if the price is right, I'll buy a whole block of meat and then carve that down myself into individual steaks. If not, I'll just buy it prepackaged. But also, I live in a split household, so my wife, eats normal, whatever people call it, the SAD diet, standard American diet. She eats whatever she wants. I've been on carnivore for just under 60 days, and previous to that, I had been on paleo at one time. Again, mostly low carb, paleo, keto, whatever. But I'm just jump starting myself back on carnivore. So pretty much I only eat animal proteins. I don't need any vegetables. So any vegetables in the house or any fruits in the house, or whatever, and junk food and packaged goods, whatever, is all for my wife. So pretty much, that's how our food goes. And our eating out bill, since I've been on carnivore, obviously has gone down because I really can't go out to too many places. At least I haven't figured out how to go to some places to do what I want to do without it actually being what I would consider dirty carnivore. So anyway, until my 90 days is up, I won't take chances on doing that. After the 90 days, I'll start reintroducing some items. In any event, moving on, like on personal care products, spend about $269 a month, and that's on things like clothing and shoes, and I'm actually the biggest culprit there. I probably spend twice as much as my wife on a monthly basis, because either I'm losing weight or something's happening and I need a new set of clothes. And then we go to like Great Clips or whatever for haircuts, and I usually use coupons for that as well. So like there's a new $10.99 coupon that's out. So if we need a haircut, we'll run over and get it using that coupon. For my wife, she'll get her haircut, let's say at Great Clips or somewhere else, but I do any coloring that she needs, any highlighting that she needs, anything like that. I'll basically buy all the components from Sally's Beauty, and then I'll color her hair, I'll highlight her hair, I'll do all that, and it's come. I'll just say it comes out pretty good, and it doesn't cost near as much as having her go to a salon. So that's one way that I'm using to cut down on those kind of costs. Travel and entertainment, we don't spend too much on entertainment. Entertainment for us are like subscription things. Like my wife likes Ancestry, so she'll pay for a subscription there. It'll be like maybe like my video program, something like that. There's a small subscription fee. So a lot of online subscription fees, but they're all just a couple of bucks here and there. Really, the biggest amount of money that we spend in that is to go either to see family during the year, because none of my family lives in the same state as I do. So I'll travel to their locations, and then we don't do it every year, but I try to budget for either a road trip or a cruise, something that's an extended kind of vacation where we can go off and do something together, unique for, call it 7, 10, 14 days. I try to do that once a year if I can. There's been years there's been multiple years where we haven't done that. But like last year, I was able to do that. I was able to actually do a road trip and a cruise. So looking forward to try and find something else like that for this year. The other, so another big cost that usually gets people to comment is I have both life insurance, whole life in fact. So I have life insurance policies as well as long-term care policies on both my wife and myself. And I have the long-term care policies because both of our families have a history of needing that. Someone in the family, in the immediate family, like grandparents or sisters or something, has either had dementia or has had Alzheimer's or something. So, and the general statistics are that 80% of us as we get older are going to need it. So, we locked ourselves in when we were in our it was either late 40s or early 50s. We started buying long-term care insurance, and we have policies now that they don't actually offer anymore. So usually they're locked out at either 3 or 6 years. Ours are unlimited, so should we require um, long-term care, uh, we have a set dollar amount per day, and it'll be that amount, until we pass. So, at least from my perspective, the cost that we're paying for that, which is $318 a month for both of us, to me, that's worth it. And then on my life insurance policies, again, they're whole life policies, and I knew from an early age that I was never going to work a job where I was going to get a pension. So, um, unlike other people who would just, let's say, buy term insurance just to cover paying off their house or something like that, I was more interested in really addressing two things. One, clearly, if I passed away before, if I predeceased my wife, I wanted her to have enough money to pay off the house, have my children go to college, and be able to restart her life with enough cash, to move on and have, at least, in my mind, 5 years or longer for her to be able to rebuild her life. So I had at least that amount of money in mind just for basic life insurance coverage. And then I wouldn't have, I funded my long-term care policies in a manner that really were to become pensions, if you will, and to have substantial cash value at retirement age, that I could then draw the money out almost like it's a Roth, tax-free until all of my original payments in principal that went in is paid back, and then you have to pay tax on the gains that it's grown at. But there's other strategies where you can borrow from yourself and you don't pay yourself back, and then when you pass, it just comes out of your death benefit. Anyway, that was my rationale for trying to have some both legacy coverage, as well as to have something I could tap into should I need to for additional cash as a fixed guaranteed income stream. So again, happy to hear anyone's thoughts on that. And through my job, which because I'm still working, I do have regular term insurance for that's just supplemental, but which is provided by my company. And then we have office supplies, and this is we pay about $80 a month between things like paper, color ink, postage, staples, office pens, things like that. So there's not really that much I can do there. Tax software, up until this year, I used TurboTax, and then TurboTax changed their licensing this year. So you have to agree to effectively let them have access to all of your personal data and to be able to share that with not only internally, but with third-party data brokers, which there's no freaking way I'm doing. So I, for the first time in like decades, I mean, I've been using it forever, I switched to H&R Block because that's not a requirement. So H&R Block, because of this issue, must have known that a lot of people are going to be looking at it. So they have a really easy import to take TurboTax data and pull it right into the software and automatically create your baseline so that you can do your taxes. And so again, I'm going to do my own taxes there. And then the only non-mortgage debt that we have is a car payment, which will be paid off next year. And I was able to get that car payment with a 0.9% interest when we got the car. So I'm in no particular rush to pay it off because the savings of the money that I would have had to pay it off, I can just put into, a U.S. Treasury or a CD or something, making, call it 5%, and, arbitrage the 4% spread between the cost of that, the payment and what I'm earning in interest. So anyway, that's kind of all of my numbers and all the key areas that I have as a budget, and kind of my rationale of why I do the things I do. I really would like some input from you guys as to, you know, areas that you think I may have overlooked to save money, um, or yeah, or just, again, other vendors that I can consider to keep my overall costs as low as possible. So if you'd leave those down in the comments for me, I'd really appreciate that. And if you made this, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end here. And again, thanks so much. And if this information sounds interesting to you, or you're interested in the carnivore diet, please subscribe. Take care.